Hello, there are one or two do's and don'ts about collecting seaweed to use in your garden, and I want to discuss those in this video and then move on to winter composting. When you collect seaweed, do it in the colder months when there are no flies about. In summer, seaweed can be infested by flies. Only collect seaweed that is washed up on the tide line. Never go out onto the rocks to collect it. Seaweed is very, very slippery to walk on. But in any case, if it's attached to the rocks, it's still part of the living ecosystem and should not be taken. Always wear gloves when you're collecting seaweed and expect the unexpected. Better to be safe than sorry. When you get your seaweed home, empty it out onto an area where it can sit for a week or two to let the winter rains take the strain. We've got the seaweed home now. One of the most asked questions I get on my channel about seaweed is, what do we do about the salt? Well, I'll tell you what we do about the salt. We don't do a lot about the salt because there isn't a lot of salt. The only salt associated with seaweed is the salty water that grows in, seawater. And any salt on seaweed is residual, and there's not a lot of it. And so all we really need to do is wash the seaweed. But I'm not going to wash it. I'm just going to put it out on this tarp, and I'm going to let the rain take the strain. Let's face it, this is winter composting. There's a lot of rain ahead of us between now and next spring when we're going to use this stuff. So this is going to get a good soaking between now and then. This is how we remove the salt, the residual salt from seaweed and ungrown veg. We lay it out on the patio and we let the autumn and winter rains take the strain. This is how to get the salt out of your seaweed. Just lay it out. Let the rain do the job for you. Seaweed has been out on the patio now for about 3 weeks. And just about every other day we've had some rain. So there's not likely to be any salt left caught in that seaweed now. At the same time you collect your seaweed, you should also be collecting autumn leaves. Seaweed and autumn leaves chopped together to make a mix that I have termed as leaves. And we just gathered these yesterday. Okay, this is the seaweed. I've already given the seaweed the once over to make sure there's no stones in there. There is a video on my channel that warns you about the fact that there could be stones with the seaweed actually attached to the seaweed, and it tells you what to do if that's the case. These are the types of things that you can find in seaweed
it's best to check it over thoroughly.
But this seaweed that I gathered is quite clean. I've checked it, as I say, there are no stones in it. And I've set the lawnmower blades high. Okay, you must set your blades high.
The two boards that you can see is simply to stop the seaweed from coming out from under the mower and making a mess. It's just for tidiness sake. They're not necessary, but it helps in the clean-up if you can keep the seaweed and leaves in a single straight line close together. The chop mix now is being collected in the grass box, and I'll show you that when I get to the end of this line.
Okay, so what we should have in the back of the lawnmower now is a mixture of chopped up seaweed and leaves. The seaweed being the green of the mix and the leaves being the brown of the mix. So what we've got, okay, so this is the chopped up leaves and seaweed. You can hardly tell the difference. It does such a good job. Look at that.
Now I've laid the seaweed and leaves out on a path. Any flat surface will do really. Just make sure that there are no stones in there. And I think you'll see as we get to the end of this line that I didn't do such a good job in that respect. But luckily I was watching what I was doing. Now check this out. This is a lawnmower wrecker. I also have a shredder that I can use. I've used the lawnmower in the past a number of times, but when I use the shredder I like to wear gloves and safety glasses, just in case I do miss a stone or anything flies out. In this particular video I'm actually putting leaves and then seaweed and then leaves and then seaweed into the shredder. And that produces the mix for me in the bag below the shredder. So we've got seaweed in the wheelbarrow and leaves in the sack. Finally, I put the chop mix on an empty raised bed to overwinter.
Hey, look at that. come on. Look at that. That used to be seaweed leaves, look at it. Right, let's rake this out. Last one, seaweed leaves, chop and drop, winter composting. You don't need beer, you don't need urine, you don't need pop, you don't need chemicals, you don't need eggshells, you don't need newspaper, you don't need poo, you just don't need it. You can put it in there if you want to. Speaking from experience, I'll tell you now, this will not smell. There'll be no flies until the spring of next year. I'll be growing potatoes in this stuff. If you don't believe me, have a look at the videos that I posted last year and you'll see that's the time scale.